This presentation is part of the National Mass Violence Victimization Resource Center's MVI SNAPS, a virtual educational series designed to provide brief, skills-focused presentations about an array of topics relevant to mass violence. Today's SNAPS webinar focuses on the three distinct types of centers that are created in the aftermath of a mass violence incident to address the immediate, short-term, and long-term needs of victims, survivors, first responders, and community members. Here are the three learning objectives for today's presentation. In this SNAPS webinar, you'll learn about the three types of centers created in response to mass violence incidents in a community and their commonalities and differences. The professionals and volunteers involved in the establishment of each center, and how advanced collaboration and planning can help to ensure the ultimate success of each center. As we begin this SNAPS webinar, please note that I'll be asking you to participate in our learning process, bringing your personal lived experiences and expertise to this presentation. In the aftermath of a mass violence incident, victims and survivors have many needs that result from experience a crime or a traumatic event. Please take 30 seconds to reflect on what you think are one or two important needs of survivors. If you'd like, you can jot these down. If you considered any of the following needs of victims and survivors, great! While every mass violence victim or survivor and incident are unique, some common needs are a sense of safety and security, timely information about what is happening and what is going to happen next to the degree possible, how to access services and support immediately, in the short term, and over the long term, specific resources to help cope with the mental and behavioral health impact of the mass violence incident, with all of the above provided with cultural competency. Fortunately, community-based and victim-survivor service responses to mass violence crimes include the creation of three types of response centers: the Friends and Relatives Center, the Family Assistance Center, and Resiliency Center. The Friends and Relatives Center has previously been called a reunification center. Why do you think FBI Victim Services changed the name of this initial response center? In mass violence incidents, there are sadly family members and friends whose loved ones are murdered. There is no reunification, and that terminology offers false hope to many survivors. So what is an FRC? The Friends and Relatives Center is safe and secure. It provides timely and accurate information, offers private space for law enforcement interviews, helps victims and survivors with their crime victim compensation applications, and begins to provide resources for longer-term support. 2 NMV VRC tip sheets help individuals and agencies prepare to establish an FRC or a Family Assistance Center. The Family Assistance Operations Guide, created by the FBI and NTSB, defines a Family Assistance Center as a model with the framework for providing family assistance following a mass fatality incident. Family assistance is defined as the provision of services and information to the family members of those killed and to those injured or otherwise impacted by the incident. Although the specific needs of those impacted will vary widely, family assistance presumes that the provision of information and access to services is essential. Family Assistance Centers, or FACs, focus on the immediate aftermath of a mass violence incident. They provide a central gathering place near the site of the incident, as well as place to obtain information, including helping connect victims to supports and to facilitate identification of victims. While a single FAC is ideal, it is important to take into account how to support family members who cannot travel to that location. The importance of security and the scope of services of a FAC are demonstrated in this sample layout. And importantly, coordinated case management begins at the Family Assistance Center. Most FACs will operate for a period of 1 to 3 weeks, the duration of which is tied to the victim recovery and identification process and other investigative activities. Since the FAC is focused on short-term information and services, FAC management must develop plans to provide support and assistance to families once they depart the Family Assistance Center. Longer-term resiliency centers are often established with support from the Office for Victims of Crime Anti-Terrorism and Emergency Assistance Program, or AEAP, which provides financial support to communities impacted by mass violence incidents for crisis response, consequence management, criminal justice, crime victim compensation support, and training and technical assistance. Here's a brief video about resiliency centers.
Mass violence and terrorism events not only cause immediate damage, but can leave serious and sometimes lifelong physical and emotional wounds, as well as devastating financial costs as a result of these enduring injuries.
Survivors in all contexts heal from being with other survivors. So we asked for funding to create a resiliency center, a one-stop multidisciplinary program to access navigation assistance, behavioral health assistance, but also community.
Needs assessments and coordinated case planning are continued at the Resiliency Center. Navigators help victims understand the many different systems and services that are available to help them. Our tip sheet describes navigators' duties and skill set. Resiliency centers offer an array of programs. These include those to address health and wellness, support groups for victims and survivors, as well as legal assistance. Also, if there is a criminal trial of an alleged perpetrator, Resiliency Center professionals help coordinate victim support and services with the U.S. Attorney or the prosecutor or district attorney. Resiliency centers also address the needs of the entire community that has been affected by the mass violence incident, provide information, support memorials and remembrances, and educate the community. OVC's AEAP program often supports resiliency centers. Depending on the location and scope of the mass violence incident, your important partners may vary, but there are almost always 9 key partners to consider in advance. Law enforcement, often involving multiple law enforcement agencies, emergency medical services, coroners, medical examiners, and mortuary services. Of course, victim survivor service professionals, and crime victim compensation professionals. Mental and behavioral health professionals, governors, mayors and civic leaders, and multi-faith community leaders. Establish 3 centers in response to mass violence crimes. Assess and address the needs of victim survivors, first responders, and communities. Recognize that these needs are immediate, short, and long-term, and in order to meet these myriad needs, you need to think about partnerships now. The NMV VRC and OVC's Helping Victims of Mass Violence and Terrorism Toolkit are your best resources for planning and forming partnerships. We are here to help. So, how'd we do? Here are our learning objectives. Did we describe the 3 types of centers created in response to mass violence incidents in a community and their commonalities and differences? Did we identify the professionals and volunteers involved in the establishment of each center? And did we describe how advanced collaboration and planning can help to ensure the ultimate success of each center. Was the information provided in this SNAPS webinar helpful to you? Let us know. You can click on this QR code to complete a brief evaluation survey. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us at the NMV VRC. All SNAPS webinars are posted on our website at nmvvrc.org. Thank you for participating in this MVI SNAPS webinar.